Guys, I don't think that you understand how relieved I am that we've gotten to this card. Do you know the mental what goes on inside your head when you have to watch Marvin Vettori and Roman Dolidze, and then the week after that, I had to watch Leon Edwards just get literally bullied. I don't even know what was after that. Like, the amount of cards in a row that I've had to sit through. Like, the casual fan doesn't have to do that, but I have this going for me, so I have to, actually care. Anyways, we have a sick card. Sorry to start the video off bitching and moaning. Finally, we have graced the weekend of UFC 314. There are some fights. As I say that, I know I just said that we finally hit a good card, but there are some pretty fights. But I'm going to give you a breakdown and prediction. Whole card, starting with early prelims, ending with the main event. Nora Knoll versus Haley Cowan. I'm taking Nora Knoll. I don't know what Haley Cowan has done to deserve to fight into the rankings. It doesn't make any sense. Also, say it with me. We pick the one that looks like a man. Yes, every single time. That's how women's MMA fights go. Just pick whoever looks more manly. Haley Cowan hasn't fought in 2 years. She only has one fight in the UFC, and it was a UD. She just got mauled. That and Nora Knoll is not bad. She sits down on her punches a lot better than what the average women's MMA fighter does. The typical just like scream and throw like a 1-2-3, not even be close to being in range. That's typically how women's MMA fights go, kind of disregarding like any sort of defensive mechanics or anything, and they're just so far out of range, and it's just that's typically how women's MMA fights go. Nora Knoll doesn't necessarily do that. She had a good fight with Jacqueline Cavalcanti. Went to split decision. She lost. Jacqueline Cavalcanti's not bad. And I think she's undefeated. Cavalcanti's undefeated in the UFC. So this is kind of a layup to me, honestly. I don't see how Haley Cowan gets any of this done at all. Her one performance in the UFC was very meh. We're taking Nora Knoll. I think she gets it done by decision or late finish, maybe. She's just more complete. She's rangier. She looks like a man. You know how it goes. Next up, Tresean Gore versus Marco Tulio. When I first saw this, I thought, maybe Tresean Gore gets it done somehow. Maybe he finds a way to get it done. And then I went back through his fight history, and I'm like, holy shit. This guy's terrible. No, he's not terrible, but I hate Brian Battle. How do you lose to Brian Battle? I don't think Brian Battle's very good. He lost to Cody Brundage. He got finished in the first round by Cody Brundage. Cody Brundage had a good last fight. Okay, maybe let me back off. I think Cody Brundage is a bitch, though. And just looking at Tresean Gore, it just kind of pisses me off. You know what I mean? There's something about his face that's just wrong. Is it one of his eyes is closer to his nose than the other one is, maybe?
What the fuck was that?
I don't know. I can't tell what it is, but I just don't like the guy. And I think Marco Tulio is actually really good. I think Marco Tulio is going to get a finish. I think he has a lot of finishing ability. I don't think Tresean Gore has that. The only thing that we've seen from Tresean Gore in terms of finishing people is his guillotine at one point. I think it was standing. Was he standing up when he did that? Yeah. It was a very weird situation. He just kind of used brute strength while they were standing up, and it somehow locked it in. Cool, I guess. If you're on the regional scene and you're still not really finishing people, it just doesn't, it's not impressive to me. Whereas Marco Tulio is a cold-blooded killer, Knocking out Ihor Potieria in the first round is very impressive. Ihor Potieria is a tricky guy to put away. If you look at Ihor Potieria's fight history, they kind of screwed Ihor Potieria over. He went from Mikel Pajeda to Cesar Almeida to Marco Tulio back to back to back. So I hold a lot of value in Marco Tulio putting Potieria away in the first round. I think he has a lot of power in his hands. I think he gets an early finish. I'm going to take him over Tresean Gore. Next up, we've got Sue Maderji versus Mitraposo. This is one of the fights that I was talking about. Mitraposo, for people who don't know, there's a gym called the New England Cartel for some notable guys that fight out of the New England Cartel. Calvin Kattar, Rob Font. The list ends there. It's not him. They're not a good gym. They have a lot of fighters. I think Mitraposo is one of them. I watched back the Andre Lima fight. I don't know how the it went to a split decision. I've seen other people say that too. I thought he clearly lost. And people are holding this loss to Andre Lima it's holding it over Maderji's head he had a war with Andre Lima. No, he didn't. He lost handedly. But then you look at Baderji's fight history and it's like, holy shit, this guy's terrible too. His finishing ability is terrible. He's long, he's rangy, but he doesn't have that like sniper ability that you should have when you are like kind of a longer guy like that. And he kind of just taps at range. And a lot of times it doesn't go well for him. He's on a 3-fight skid. Like when he fought Matt Schnell, he couldn't. How the do you not finish Matt Schnell? You could pick up a Down syndrome kid off the street and he could probably put away Matt Schnell. Matt Schnell is like the guy you put away. He's the poster boy. And you can't put him away and you get finished by him? But Mitch Raposo fights out of the New England Cartel. Neither of these guys are good. I'm going to be honest. I just hate the fact that Sumudaerji is on like a big skid. He started out good in the UFC and then he kind of snowballed into just this string of losses. And he can't finish anybody. And he got beat the piss out of by Charles Johnson. I'm taking Mitch Raposo. I don't know, man. I don't know what the hell's going to happen with this fight. I just think Sumudaerji's not good. I just don't think he's good, and I don't think Mitch Raposo's good. I don't know. But that's the thing. Like, Mitch Raposo's not going to be able to close the distance and get through the void, as Demetrius Johnson would say. Mudaerji's too long, I think. I'm going to take Mitch Raposo. I think he wins by damage-based scoring by decision. I just don't think these New England Cartel guys are good. I think that Sumudaerji's too deep into this snowball effect of losses. We'll take Mitch Raposo. After that, we've got Sergey Dumas versus Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk is one of the more underrated prospects on the roster, I think. He's not even a prospect really at this point because he's been in the UFC for a really long time. Dude, he hits so hard. Not long ago when he fought Kevin Holland, the first big shot that he landed on Kevin Holland sat his ass down. Kevin Holland is hard to drop. He's notoriously known for having like a seriously good chin. Like when Wonderboy was beating the living out of him and he couldn't get Kevin Holland to go down. And then he just like stuck his head into a triangle armbar or whatever it was after he knocked down Kevin Holland. Anyways, all of his losses as of recent are actually not bad. He beat Chidi Njokuani and then he went on to Mikhail Pereira, Kevin Holland, Shaur Magomedov. He had success in all of those fights. Whereas I think that Sergey Dumas all of his wins are, as of recent at least, decisions, which I don't think is going to suit him well against a guy like Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, who's just going to be walking you down, trying to land that big one, trying to finish you, trying to get you out of there. And is Sergey Dumas like a convicted felon? He looks like what's up with the face tats, man? Like the one opponent that these guys really have in common is Cody Brundage. Sergey Dumas took him to a decision. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk put him away in the first round. Just knocked him down, hammer fisted him out. I'm going to go off of MMA math here. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk gets this done. Of his 7 wins in the UFC, 6 of them are by KO. I don't see the potential in Sergey Dumas. I just don't. I like the finishing potential. I think Oleksiejczuk gets a second round finish. I think he lands a big one. Or first. I think he's going to land a big one. I don't think Sergey is going to be able to take it. If he goes down and rolls to his back and lets Oleksiejczuk into his guard, I don't think he's gonna like be throwing up subs like Kevin Holland did or like trying to reverse the position, scramble out. I think he's gonna just accept the position and Oleksiejczuk is just gonna ground and pound him out. I'd take him by first or second round TKO. Next up, Julian Erosa versus Darren Elkins. Darren Elkins is really old. How old is Darren Elkins? He's 40. All right. Julian Erosa better win this, dude. If you guys watch the MMA Guru, I've watched his prediction about this, and he's ruined a lot of prospects. If he loses this to Darren Elkins, I mean, what the dude? Like, actually, I'm obviously going to take, I'm going to take Julian Erosa. The fact that Darren Elkins is one of those guys who will get the shit kicked out of them for 2.5 rounds, still be walking forward, and then somehow find a way to like turn the tide. That's a little scary. But I do like the finishing ability from Julian Erosa, especially on the ground in that department. Darren Elkins does. He's a little sloppy. He is on the striking too. He's just not as much of a threat as Julian Erosa is. We're taking Julian Erosa. I think he gets it done by late TKO. I think it might be even end up being a doctor stoppage because Darren Elkins' scar tissue is some of the worst I've ever seen. He gets cut open so easily. It happens. Once you're 40, and you've been in the sport for however many years, scar tissue starts to build up, man. So, yeah. I think it's gonna be a late TKO by Julian Erosa. Next up, Jim Miller versus Chase Hooper. I was big on the Chase Hooper train when he first came to the UFC, and then he had a couple fights or a fight or two where I was like, oh shit, like maybe he's not what I thought he was. He just looked kind of frail when he lost to Steve Garcia and when he lost to Steven Peterson and Alex Caceres. Yeah, I just remember watching those fights back and I was like, this kid might just be too like malleable, if that's the word. Like he just looked too bitch made. Like it just looked like you could throw him around. He looked like a victim. He just looked like a little kid, you know? And he still does. He's 25, you know? His last two fights, I was like, holy crap, this guy's really, really good. When he knocked down Vyacheslav Borishev with an overhand, it looked fluky when I was watching that fight live. I watched it back and I was like, holy shit, like no, this kid is really good. He went to a split decision in a grappling match with Aljamain Sterling. Like you're winning grappling exchanges with Aljo armbarring Clay Guida in the first round. Like Clay Guida is the annoying fighter of annoying fighters. Like Clay Guida has to have some sort of autism, you know what I mean? But like Chase Hooper out autismed Clay Guida. His scrambles, I think, are just going to be the difference. I think I love Jim Miller, don't get me wrong. He's just going to be able to out scramble him and get to a really dominant position. When he does get to those dominant positions, he finishes it. I'm going to take Chase Hooper by sub. I think he gets a sub. I think it's going to be pretty easy. I think it'll be in the first or second round. I think Jim Miller just, once he took that beating from Bobby Green, his last fight, like he choked out Damon Jackson. That was good. That was new hairline Damon Jackson. Damon Jackson was better when he had no hair. Anyways, I think Chase Hooper gets this done. I just think Jim Miller's too slow. He's too old now. He's got stuff going on outside the cage. I know some people who know Jim Miller personally, and he's doing all sorts of stuff outside of the cage. I think he's doing fighting just because he has for this long. And Chase Hooper's making strides, I think. So taking Chase Hooper, I think minus 800 is stupidly high, but whatever. Next up, Virna Jandiroba versus Yan Xiaonan. Say it with me again. Pick the one that looks like a man. Jesus, she's like Trayshawn Gore, dude. Like she's hard to look at. She looks like easy to draw. You know what I mean? Sorry. I'm going to take after all of this, I am going to take Virna Jandiroba. I think Yan Xiaonan's scrambles and grappling exchanges is just not good. Her groundwork is just very mediocre. In her fight against Wei Li, she looked okay. Like she won some exchanges. The exchanges she won compared to the exchanges that Wei Li won, it wasn't even close. And I'm not comparing Wei Li to Virna Jandiroba because I do think Wei Li is the best. Ground-wise, I think Jandiroba is just levels above everyone in the division other than Wei Li. I think she gets a takedown and it's just going to be over. She's going to ragdoll her. I think the odds being set this close, I think that we're just giving too much credit to Yan Xiaonan for her fight against Wei Li because she did win some exchanges and she's been up at the top of the division for so long. But I do see Virna Jandiroba being some sort of a contender. Like I see her contending for the belt. And she gets a lot of submissions. She throws up a lot of subs. She's always looking for a finish, which is rare at women's MMA. You look at her wins, like Marina Rodriguez, Angela Hill. Angela Hill's not that impressive. Lupe Godinez, Amanda Lemos. She armbarred Amanda Lemos. It's a bit much for me to say that Yan Xiaonan, because of her experience up at the top of the division, is going to play a factor. I just don't think so. I think her grappling is just not good compared to Virna. We're going to take this thing. Yikes. Sorry, was that rude? Yeah, probably. Whatever. Dan Ige versus Sean Woodson. Sean Woodson is basically Jalen Turner, but he's not stupid. Because Jalen Turner's really dumb. But Sean Woodson's actually good, dude, which sucks. Because he's why did they put all the ugly fighters on the same card? Man, why is he built like that? Awful tattoos also, by the way. Jesus Christ. As if it couldn't get worse, you know? He has this build, and then he goes ahead and starts permanently tattooing himself like with this shit. What a retard. I am going to take Sean Woodson. I like how I keep blaming these guys and then picking them, whatever. He's really good. I think that he can just teep and inside leg kick at range for 3 straight rounds. And I don't think Dan Ige will be able to close the distance. We saw it when Dan Ige fought Lerone Murphy. He was able to close the distance early because Lerone was willing to get into those types of exchanges because he thought he could take it. Then he took a big left hook. Then I was like, okay, I'll just sit out here on the outside with my back to the cage. You're not going to be able to do a damn thing about it. And he couldn't. And Sean Woodson's longer, bigger and rangier than Lerone Murphy is, I think. Sean Woodson's gonna win a decision. Have I picked every of all the ugly fucks on this card? Oh no, I didn't pick Tresean Gore. Never mind. We're picking all the people that look like they have a learning disability, I guess. We'll take him by 30-27 decision. Nikita Krylov, Dominic Reyes. This pains me to say this because I do love Dominic Reyes. Nikita Krylov is a monster. If you take a walk down Nikita Krylov's fight history, he has a lot of fights, by the way. He's 30-9. Ryan Spann, Volkan Oezdemir, Gustafsson. He took Magomed Ankalaev. Like, he put Ankalaev in a little bit of trouble. Johnny Walker, Glover Teixeira, Jan Blachowicz, Oven St. Preux. They just don't give this guy, like, shit matchups, or fighters, rather. I just think Dominic Reyes is too chinny. It's that element of surprise that Nikita Krylov has, where it's like, he's just going to be winging shit at you, and you better pray to God that you're out of the way of it. Dominic Reyes doesn't do well with that, you know, with Yuri. Like, he was having success against Yuri, and then Yuri started pulling shit out of the back pocket, like, oh, what's this? We'll try this. And he throws a spinning elbow, and next thing you know, he's face down, ass up, just... You know, I think Nikita Krylov's going to land something that's like, whoa. And Dominic Reyes isn't going to be able to take it, you know. He got knocked out by a stiff jab from Ryan Spann. At the time, we thought Ryan Spann was good. He's not. I'm taking Nikita Krylov. I think he gets a first or second round finish. Patricio Pitbull versus Yair Rodriguez. I'm taking Yair Rodriguez. I think Patricio Pitbull's just past his prime. And he is a little bit of a decision merchant. As of late, you go down the line and you look at the people that he's fought and the ways that he's won and the ways that he's lost. AJ McKee decision. Adam Borics decision. Kleber Koike, I don't even know who that is, to be honest with you. Decision. Going from that type of competition into the UFC against a guy like Yair, where it's like you guys will be nose to nose, and he throws a lead question mark kick and it clips you, and you're like, what the fuck just hit me? His last 3 fights, he's 1-2. Grant, he was so good at Bellator, I know. To beat Yair on the feet specifically, you really have to be something like special. Something like a Max Holloway or like Volk. You got to be an absolute killer to beat this guy on the feet. And then if you go to the ground, I just feel like Yair's too much of a spaz on the ground, like where he's just going to throw up a triangle or going to upkick you on your way into his guard, which is going to make Patricio just too reluctant to even get into those situations. So he's going to stay on the feet, but Yair is just going to fuck him up on the feet the whole time. I'm going to take Yair by decision because it is hard to put Patricio Pitbull away. I think it's just going to be a 30-27 type of thing, maybe a 29-28. I think Yair's just going to kick the shit out of his leg at range, throw weird question marks, jumping switch kicks that are going to keep Patricio on the back foot. Patricio will try and shoot a takedown at some point. Yair will probably scramble, sprawl out of it. I think it's too much of a jump too late in his career. Bryce Mitchell and Gene Silva. Gene Silva's retarded. Let me start by saying that. Gene Silva has some sort of mental disability, but it's awesome. And I think that benefits him more than it doesn't, so far at least, because maybe, who knows, maybe it gets him in trouble in the future. If you're gonna bet on this fight, bet on Bryce Mitchell. I'm taking Gene Silva. +2 whatever for this is ridiculous for Bryce Mitchell, because I think everything in the history of me watching MMA, Bryce Mitchell's just gonna ragdoll him. Gene Silva got ragdolled, man, by Charles Jourdain before, he got up and he landed a nice uppercut. I get it. I don't understand how that you can get ragdolled by Charles Jourdain, but then he just knocks him out. And the fighting nerds are just on such a roll. I have to take Gene Silva because I just have to assume if he does get back up to his feet, he's going to land one. Bet on Bryce Mitchell if you're going to bet on this fight. I see him getting a submission or a ground and pound finish. I don't like this whole calling Gene Silva a demon because he barks. I think that's kind of low, to be honest with you. Just like calling someone a demon and like possessed because they're like poking fun at you. Bryce Mitchell. And then he's like, oh, you're a demon, like you're from the spawn of Satan. It's like, whoa. I think that's a bit much. I do like Bryce. I respect Bryce for him standing his ground, so to say, with all the backlash and whatever. I just think Gene Silva's gonna land one because that's the fighting nerds, dude. That's the fighting nerds. They haven't lost yet. The 4 fighting nerds, at least, that they haven't lost, and they always find a way to just do something crazy. So until they don't, I'm just I'm not going to go against them. I can't. Until they lose, I'm not going against them. And I think the mental warfare is going to play into Gene Silva's hands of like Bryce thinking that he's demonic and all this crap. I think that Bryce is going to go in there too hot and too amped. He's going to do something that's just going to play into Gene Silva's hands, I think. We're taking Gene Silva. Not happy about it, to be honest, because I do think Bryce Mitchell has a very, very good chance of getting this done. Paddy Pimblett, Michael Chandler. Paddy, I'm begging you. I'm begging you, Paddy. Please. This sounds gay now. No Jones. I want you to do long-term damage to this guy. I can't deal with this fake nice guy bullshit anymore. I can't do it. I can't deal with this. It's about the process. It's about the process, loving the process. It's about becoming a better person inside and building yourself up and those around you. Shut up, you cheating fuck. He's probably the most blatant cheater I've ever seen in the history of the sport. Every single fight, there's multiple things that he's intentionally cheating on. I want to see this guy hurt really badly. And I've watched back Paddy's fights, and his striking sucks. His striking is so bad. He's square on, and instead of having like a closed guard like this, his hands are like out here, and he's just like... And then you look at him on the side, and it looks like he's like sticking his head out to get hit. He's like this. I just knocked my camera over. I got a little too animated. My bad. His striking is so bad. And it makes you think, like, Chandler could connect. If Chandler's gonna connect, it's gonna be against a guy like this who just leaves their chin up to be hit. Then you think, okay, when was the last time Michael Chandler did that to somebody? Dan Hooker? Like, people say Tony Ferguson, but like even Chandler after the fight was like, yeah, I don't even throw a front kick. I was just like, yeah, see if it works. Like it was a fluke. He said it himself. Chandler doesn't put people away like he'd put away Dan Hooker anymore. And Chandler's not as good as people think. Oliveira sat on his back for like 15 straight minutes, brutalizing him the entire time, just doing whatever he wanted. That was a patient Oliveira. Whereas Paddy, I think Michael Chandler always does something stupid.
Uh-oh, retard alert! Retard alert, class!
Like what Bobby Green did, trying to catch a low kick and just diving and putting his head into going to the ground with Paddy. If Chandler does that against Paddy, I think it's... Because I think Paddy is going to chase the submission. I think he is going to get it. I think he's going to get a sub. I think Chandler's going to do something so stupid as he does, because he probably has some of the lowest fight IQ I've ever seen. Hence the reason he probably cheats. And I think Paddy's going to get a sub. And I think it'll happen in the second or third round. I think Chandler will land a big one. It'll stumble Paddy. We'll be like, oh, Chandler won't put him away as he usually does. And I'm saying that I'm trying to manifest this because I really do. I want to see this guy get hurt. It's about building yourself up and people around you. No one's buying that shit anymore, bro. Shut up. You're a prick. I hope that Paddy Pimblett does non-reversible damage, like very brutal damage. Paddy, wring his neck, please. And that's crazy to say because I'm not even a big Paddy Pimblett fan. I think the IQ is going to play a huge role, and Chandler's going to do something absolutely retarded as he does. Paddy's going to snatch something. He's one of the best grapplers in the UFC, I think. I'm taking Paddy by late finish by sub. Volk versus Lopes. I'm not making the same mistake that a lot of people did with Izzy versus Imavov. A lot of people looked at that fight and were like, it's Izzy. What's Imavov going to do? And then the first round happened and everyone was like, see, Izzy's back. These city kickboxing guys, I've said it so many times. They exit with their head up. They leave so many openings. And it works because they're really slick, but they're not in their prime anymore. And Volk's in the best shape of his life, and he looks switched on. And Volk is old, and he's been shut off 2 times in a row, which I hate because Volk's one of my favorite fighters ever. I'm telling you, there's gonna be an exchange where Diego advances, and Volk's gonna do that thing where he goes to paw out with one hand, and he exits up high like this, and then something's going to come over the top and clip him, and he's going to go out. I don't like this for Volk, man. I want him to ride off in the sunset. I'm really, really hoping that Volk can find a way to not get clipped by that, because once we get to the third round, Diego Lopes looks like shit, by the way. Yeah, I don't know what happens. Like, once he gets to a certain stage, it's like, what the fuck happened to you, man? Like, Jesus Christ. Like, fatigue sets in quick for him. Like, 1 minute, he looks sharp. He's landing bombs, throwing up submissions, mixing in takedowns or, like, sweeps. And then the next minute, it's like, holy shit. Like, what the fuck happened to you, man? So, Volk, I'm pleading with you here. Don't exit with your chin in the air for just 2 rounds. Don't throw that lead low kick that you do. Please. He's gonna blitz in and land a big one. Once your chin's gone, by the way. That's how that works. And when you get switched off bad 2 times in a row, it's like gone. Volk, please. Don't do this shit that you normally do because you're gonna get caught. You can do it in the 3rd and 4th and 5th round. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But like in the first few rounds, please don't exit the way that you normally do. Please don't throw that lead low kick, and don't accept having your back on the cage. He can't do that. Like with Ilya, accepted moving backwards and putting himself into a spot where he was just gonna get put out. He just accepted it, and he can't accept getting a takedown and sitting in full guard, sitting in Diego Lopez's guard. He can't do that because Diego Lopez is going to throw up subs like no one else. 3rd, 4th, 5th round hit Volk, then you can start. I like how it feels like a therapy session right now that I'm like just talking to Volk like he can actually hear me.
So what is it that he did that disrespected you that got you to dislike him?
This is not a therapy session.
Once we get to the later rounds, turn up the heat. He's in the best shape of his life, but his chin isn't the same, and he can't do the things that he did to get him to this spot. If you need to drop the first 2 rounds and get outstruck just so that you don't get put away, do that. But I don't think he will. When he fought Chad Mendes, and Chad Mendes was landing bombs, and Volk was just like... versus Ilya lands 1 and he's out. Makhachev clips him with a head kick up here. It's not the same. And people are saying he's in the best shape of his life and he's going to be switched on. And is he a favorite? He is a favorite. I'm taking Diego Lopez by early finish because I think Volk is going to resort to those old habits of, oh, I can flutter this lead leg kick out there. I can, on my stance switch, throw that right hand and then exit and paw my way out. I don't think he can, bro. And please prove me wrong. Please. I don't know if my mental health can deal with seeing Volk go out again. I don't know if I can do that. Dude, just thinking about this just makes me sad because I think it's going to I think he's just going to go out. He has too many bad habits that favor Diego Lopez. I'm taking Diego Lopez. I think he gets a 2nd round KO. In the 1st round, Volk is going to be switched on, landing good shots, beating up Diego's leg. It'll be a story of, oh, wow, Volk's back. And then he's going to do one of those things where he tries to exit and he leaves a huge opening and Diego's going to pounce on it and it's not going to end well. Please prove me wrong, Volk. Please be back. So anyways, appreciate you guys for watching. More videos coming all the time. Like and subscribe. 98% of you aren't. Yeah, if you enjoyed, leave a like. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.